Hey everybody, here looking at my tech room computer, and one thing I did when I built this machine is I configured it to where I could easily connect up hard drives for doing backups and things like that. As far as SATA goes, I can just do direct connect using these two SATA cables, which are hot swappable SATA connections, and I have power connections over here. For both 4-pin Molex and SATA, I have two SATA and one 4-pin Molex. But connecting IDE hard drives has always been a little bit of a challenge. I've had to use an IDE to USB adapter, which normally that's okay, but this old IDE to USB adapter I've had for about 8 years. It's getting to a point where it's not performing very well at all. I backed up the data off of this hard drive. This is a hard drive you may know from the recent video where I tried to start that real filthy computer. It took a whopping 3 days. 3 days to back up this drive. And there were several times where the drive was not responsive. And it wasn't the actual hard drive itself, but rather this thing. I've noticed over time it's gotten to where it just does not work very well anymore. So I went ahead and bought a new one. So we'll be doing an unboxing video today. We'll be unboxing the Vantec IDE and SATA to USB 3.0 adapter. Let's take a look at the box. It supports 2.5, 3.5, and 5.25 inch SATA or PATA or IDE hard drives, SSDs, and optical drives. Here's the bottom. On the bottom it tells you supports 2.5 and 3.5 inch hard drives and SSDs. Super speed transfer rate up to 5 gigabits per second with USB 3.0. Hot swappable, of course. Support 5.25 inch optical drives, which that's one thing I've also used this thing here for machines that don't have optical drives like netbooks and such. On the side you have your website. On the back you get some more information about the product. No drivers needed for multiple OS, it says. Optimized for any speed. Here's the specifications. Your system requirements. It's obviously a very well compatible device. Here's what it includes in the package: the adapter, a SATA data cable, power converter, power adapter, 4-pin SATA adapter, and a quick installation guide. Let's go ahead and open the box and have a look. That's one key thing that's important, is that they include, something like this includes everything you need. And it looks like Vantec has went over and beyond here. Of course, providing the needed power adapter, but also providing providing a SATA cable and a SATA power adapter cable. So we'll go ahead and just open her up here and just see what we have. When you open a box, you're greeted with this installation guide. Where it even shows you all the contents that are packed in the box. And it shows you how to utilize the included power adapter. And other things. I'll scan a copy of this so that way you can take a look at it better than this with the camera like I'm doing now. This is the model CB-ISA225-U3. And on the back it says manufacturer's warranty. That's funny, Australia only. Blah, blah, blah. Now, if you're wondering, this was like, I think $25 on Amazon. It wasn't too awfully expensive. Considering what you get, it's a pretty decent bargain, I think. Now, of course, they still sell this cheap guy, and it's like $5–10. The only difference between this one and the newer ones of this kind of form are the newer ones have a little SATA plug on them for support for SATA hard drives, but pretty sure the performance is probably what you would consider terrible. Okay, let's go ahead and unbox the contents here. This is the actual adapter. So it's similar to what I have. Let's get this unwrapped. It's similar to the one I have, but in addition, it has the SATA hookup on this side here. And of course, it's a USB 3.0 device. The manual just gives you simple directions on how to set the jumpers on a IDE device and whatnot. So what I'm going to do in this video is I think I will use the Mid-Tower Deluxe for a demonstration since it has USB 3.0. The Techman PC does not. This is the included power adapter. This is a lot better than the one that was included with the previous adapter. It was about the size of a laptop adapter and you had additional cables you had to carry around and such for it. This here, you just plug this into your wall and you have this convenient on-off switch on here, which is very nice. And it looks like the way this works, it gives out 12 volt. It gives out 12 volts, and inside here, it most likely utilizes a DC to DC converter. Of course, to convert your 12 volts to a 5 volt supply as well for 5 volt devices. And here are the included adapters. You will use this one for IDE devices, and you'll use this one for SATA devices. Here's the included SATA cable, and mind you, it's pretty dang short. It's not very long at all. Perhaps they could have included one that was at least a few inches longer, but I mean, if this is all you have for a SATA cable, it will do the job. No doubt about it. But I think they could have actually included something a little longer than that. Would have been nice. So anyways, that's the contents. Your power supply, your DC-DC adapter for your 5 volts, your 2 power leads, the SATA cable, and your USB 3.0 adapter. For the performance testing, we'll be using both an IDE and a SATA hard drive. The IDE hard drive is an 8GB Hitachi from roughly 2002 or 2003. The SATA hard drive is a Seagate ST500D M002 from 2013. I'm expecting the IDE drive to probably roughly offer somewhere in the range of 40 to 60 megabyte per second sequential read. The SATA hard drives to do significantly better because it's a much newer drive and it's actually a SATA 600 device. So let's go ahead and get these connected and try them out. Okay, I've got the IDE hard drive hooked up. And one comment I'm going to make right away is I do believe they could have made the cable much longer on the included AC adapter. It's just barely long enough to reach up here, because the nearest outlet I have is down on the floor. So I feel that they should have included at least an additional 2 to 3 feet of cabling on the adapter, AC adapter. But anyways, we have it hooked up to the power converter, and I have our USB 3.0 adapter hooked up to a USB 3.0 port. So we'll go ahead and switch on our switch to power up the hard drive. Okay, after some fiddling around, I managed to get it to work. Of course, set to master. And this adapter, it seems like you have to power up the drive and then plug in the USB port. My old one was a little different. But it is functioning now, so we'll go ahead and... Looks like it's really accessing that drive pretty hard. Probably autoplay or something of that nature. And of course now you can access files that are on the device. Seems like things have started to calm down a little bit now. Let's see if it shows up in QuickBench. And yes, it does. There's not enough space on the disk. That's interesting because it's not full. Okay, I switched out the IDE drive because that Hitachi was giving me errors in QuickBench. Now I have this Western Digital 40 GB, probably the same age. Now this one did not want to work with the jumper set to master. However, it's working with it set to cable select. So yeah, these IDE drives, they can be very picky about things. But at least now it's working. And for example, if I pull up my computer, we can see the files that are on this drive. So that's a good thing if you're trying to back things up. Let's go and do a speed test. Now it sounds like something's trying to access the drive, but anyways, just going to give it a try. Now this is a pretty old drive, so I'm not really surprised to see kind of low numbers on it like that. Okay, the QuickBench test has completed, and here's what we have as far as sequential and random access goes. Very typical performance I would expect for a drive like this. I will say, however, this adapter is already performing better than that last one I had. Now another thing is, it doesn't actually give you access to, like for example, Crystal Disk Info cannot see the device. But this is for example. Now on a similar note, this is my white label 4 terabyte drive that has been failing smart for over 12 months now, and it still shows up as good. No wonder it still works fine. Now we'll go ahead and run the test again, except this time with the SATA hard disk. Okay, now I have the SATA hard drive hooked up, and of course, because it being a SATA device, getting it recognized was relatively easy. Just plug it in and it works. Now, of course, I did make a comment about the length of the SATA cable being kind of short, but in reality, in a case like this, it doesn't really matter. because you're not really, it don't really have to be long, but anyways. Got it plugged into a USB 3 port, and we'll go ahead and run QuickBench again to see what kind of performance we get out of this device. Okay, QuickBench is up and running, and now it's seeing our drive. Let's see what kind of performance we get out of it. Why do I keep getting this error? I'll just format the drive. Okay, I formatted the volume on that drive. Let's just go and try it again. And we're getting relatively decent read and write sequential for this drive. For it being just your regular, being a 7200 RPM SATA hard drive. Has either 32 or 64 megs of cache on it. I don't remember exactly for sure. It was pulled from an HP computer. We'll let this complete. Okay, the benchmark's completed, and here are the results. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of that. And we'll do this again, except this time we'll do a direct connect to the machine through the hot swap SATA port. Okay, now I'm powering the drive off the included power supply, but I have the drive plugged into the SATA cable that is hot swappable on this machine, and we'll just rerun this test again and see what kind of results we get. Okay, let's go and have a look at the speed test done with the USB adapter and the one done with the just drive direct connected to the SATA hookup. You can see that between the USB 3 adapter and the direct connection, performance was slightly better, but I would say that for a USB adapter, I'd say this is pretty decent performance. You shouldn't notice too much lag, at least in my opinion. I don't think you really notice too much of a difference here, considering these numbers are very similar to each other. And of course, as I mentioned, the SATA Direct Connect did score a little higher as far as sequential and random access goes. You can see the time and the speed are both, at least with the SATA, with this direct SATA connection, the time was a little bit less and the speed was a little higher. And it took 1 second less to complete the benchmark with the direct connection versus the USB 3.0 adapter. So this gives you an idea of what kind of performance to expect out of this device. Again, you'll notice a little bit of a slight lag, but not too bad at all, at least in my opinion. This thing is definitely a lot more stable than my old USB adapter. Now, that IDE hard drive I tested, again, it was an older IDE hard drive. So it's going to kind of be expected for it to push out pretty crappy numbers like it did. One thing I'm interested to see is if I can image an IDE hard drive with this adapter. It was something I could not do with my previous adapter, it would always fail at some point during the file transfer. It would fail, essentially saying the device is not available. So we'll give it a try with the USB 3 adapter. However, at this point it'll actually be plugged up through a USB 2 port on the Tech Room PC. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and test out imaging a hard drive, an IDE hard drive, with this adapter. We'll go ahead and connect it up to the Tech Room computer. Now this will be going on. This will actually be working on a USB 2 connection, because the Tech Room, the motherboard in the Tech Room machine doesn't have USB 3 support. I may have to upgrade it sometime down the road to give it that. But for now, we'll just use it like it is. I could probably add in like a PCI card or something down the road with USB 3.0 support. Okay, I've got the jumpers on this drive set to master. Again, these old drives can be very picky about things. And the drive is being recognized by the machine. And of course, when we look at my computer, there it is. Okay, since there's nothing really important on this drive, we'll go ahead and just format it. It's this one here, local disk I. It's that one there. Let's go and do a quick format on it. We're going to try to do a speed test on this one from this machine. And double check and make sure I did the right one. Okay, it's formatted. There's Quick Bench. And it should see, yeah, there it is. Let's see how this thing does over a USB 2.0 connection. Now again, the IDE drive we tested last time was a different one, but let's see what we get here. Kind of similar. Now I do think that drive is actually a little bit faster than this sequential reading, right? However, you have to realize that there's emulation going on here with this adapter. And while that's running, go ahead and go into disk management. I'll go ahead and stop. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get everything prepped and ready to go. Yep, here's the one in question. You go ahead and delete these volumes. And go and attach a virtual hard disk. Now, by the way, this is actually this image is actually stored on the Midtower Deluxe, which is over a gigabit connection. And there's our virtual disk. It's just an image of Windows 7. I believe it's 32-bit. Go ahead and launch a disk partitioning program. And what we'll do is we'll choose disk 4. copy. We'll select this one. And of course, we'll just go ahead and let it continue, and then afterwards we can make adjustments to these partitions. Select apply. And yes. And it's going to go ahead and start imaging the drive. Okay, the imaging has been completed successfully. No issues at all. Definitely a nice improvement from what I had previously. The old USB adapter would fail. Guaranteed it would fail every time. So we can go ahead and close out of this. And our virtual HD we can go and detach. And here we can go ahead and choose extend volume. And there we go. And which, by the way, that is simply a sysprepped Windows 7 image. And of course we can access the files that are on it. Anyways, there you go. No problems at all. Okay, last but not least, to wrap up our video demonstration of this product, we'll go ahead and try out a laptop IDE hard drive. This is a 2.5-inch drive. Now on these particular drives, you'll notice that there's a pin. Get you a good focus here. You'll notice there's a pin missing. There's some crooked pins on there too, but there's a pin missing, and if you look at the connector, you'll notice the missing pin there. All you do is just line that up with the connector. And you just press it on like so. In this case, the drive will be powered off of the adapter. Yeah, these laptop hard drives, they get their power from the IDE source. It's just plugged into the machine. And the hard drive starts up. And it's being detected by the machine. And of course there is the hard disk. So those are the files that, for example, the files that are on the drive you could access just like usual. So anyways, going to wrap up this video. I think this is an excellent product for what it is. It's priced very well. Like I mentioned, I think it's like $25 on Amazon. Not too bad at all. And of course, the variety of different connections it offers, and the included supplies that you need, comes in very handy and does everything I expected it to do just fine. Now, the only real drawback with this thing is it does seem like there is some performance loss over IDE connections due to, I believe, some emulation going on. And of course, adapting the IDE device to a USB connection. Now, with SATA devices, it seems like this emulation, the performance reduction is nowhere near as significant as you had seen earlier in the QuickBench comparison tests with the Seagate 500 gig drive connected through this to a USB 3.0 connection versus a direct connect. There was only a slight reduction in performance. But with all the different IDE devices I've tested, there has seemed to have been quite a bit of reduction in performance, at least from my testing anyway. Your testing may be different. However, this device does seem to be a lot more stable than, for example, this older one I have. Like I mentioned, this thing was nothing but problems, and it's got worse and worse and worse over time. Like I mentioned, never could do a partition copy to an IDE device with this. It would always fail at some point. It seemed like what would happen with it is you would get data transferred and you would get a big pause, and it sounded like the pause got worse and worse and worse until, like I mentioned, this most recent incident where it took 3 days to copy about, I don't know, 8 gigs worth of files. It was just so slow. Like, I'm talking kilobytes per second transfer rate. Yeah, terrible. So yeah, this one here images just fine. It does partition transfers just fine. This will be very handy for anybody who's needing to hook up an IDE device to their machine, especially if you have a laptop. This will be very handy for laptop users. Now, the biggest complaint I would have with this thing is the included AC adapter cable should have been at least 2 feet longer, maybe even 3 feet longer. As mentioned previously in the video, I was barely even able to reach the entire Lux from the nearest AC outlet in the floor behind my couch. Now, for example, on this desk here where I have outlets like right there, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. But let's say like that one down on the floor would be kind of pushing it, to be honest. Or especially the way I had it in the living room. They should have included a slightly longer cable, I think. But other than that, considering what this device offers, simplicity, you know, your hard drives or optical drives, you plug up to it and it's like almost like a USB storage device or a USB external hard drive, really. The simplicity of the device itself and the included accessories. I mean, everything you need is included in the box, including the power adapter and such. So I highly recommend this product for anybody who would need this product for doing data backups or whatnot, or just needing to hook up an internal hard drive or optical drive to their computer via USB port. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, I sure hope you guys enjoyed this video from Q Computer Channel. Remember to like the video, subscribe to Q Computer Channel for more updates, and remember to tick the bell so that you actually get notified of these updates. Did you know that I am also on a second channel? That's CubeComp MTDX. Over there you'll find videos of bicycling, weather, elevators, and all sorts of other neat and interesting stuff. Feel free to subscribe to that channel as well. And again, I thank you for your support, and thanks for watching this video.